Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. In today's video, I would like to talk about ATEEZ' newest song Wonderland, focusing on the breakdown and analysis of both the lyrics and the music video. The title of the song is a reference to Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, the story of a girl who finds herself in a wonderful place full of strange characters that lead her on an adventure. Right off the bat, this is very telling, because by referencing Wonderland, ATEEZ continue the journey they began in Treasure Episode 1 All to Zero. Much like it's foreshadowed by the outro of their upcoming album, this is the beginning of the end. In the video, we see them approaching what in the lyrics they call the Door of Truth. And judging by the overall concept of the video, Wonderland deals with the final step towards success. If you followed the storyline up to this point, you will know that in the plot there is a war going on between ATEEZ and the Suicide Squad, which is the dark version of them who wants to overpower the good. In my previous video about ATEEZ, I theorized that this comeback would feature a hybrid version of the two sides, and judging by the music video, I was correct. In order to understand what's going on, however, we have to take a closer look starting from the concept itself. The fact that they chose Wonderland as a title track is not random. On the one hand, Wonderland could be seen as another way to define their treasure, the literal land of wonders they mention in many of their previous songs. On the other, however, Wonderland is a place where the rules of reality don't apply. It's a land of nonsense, a dreamlike version of reality, and its confusing and strange nature is conveyed in the characters they play in the story, which in the song are merging together in the quest to reach the treasure. Now, the imagery used in the MV is immediately very interesting. In the video, the boys are wearing outfits that recall some of the characters of Alice in Wonderland. And judging by the settings we find them in, this is the version of themselves that is lingering inside of them. Whether it's the real them or the Suicide Squad is difficult to tell, because as I said earlier, the two versions are kinda merging together at this point. But there are some interesting details that are worth looking into in the context of the lyrics as well. The song begins with Hongjung in a red and white setting. He's wearing white boots, a print coat, and he's holding a compass, which makes me think that he's playing the part of the White Rabbit. In the book, the White Rabbit is the first Wonderland character that we meet, and he's also the servant of the Red Queen, thus associating him with the colors we see in the background. In the lyrics, he gives several nods to their past songs. Like in Say My Name, he pushes the audience to acknowledge him because at this point it's pointless to doubt him. Much like in Pirate King and Treasure instead, he reinforces the idea that they're gonna find a new world in their journey. And by mentioning Peter, it gives a nod to Illusion, where ATEEZ sailed to Neverland on a flying ship. Next up we have Songhwa, and his outfit suggests that he's playing the role of the Red Queen, which is the main antagonist of the book. This is very fitting, because in the lyrics they mention the same symptoms that in the previous songs are associated with the Suicide Squad. There is fire and heart racing, which strongly suggests that the dark versions of themselves are to blame for the aggressive stance they are taking in this comeback. This vibe is further reinforced in Yuno's lines, who is playing the role of the caterpillar. This is evident by the green and blue background and by the abstract images on the TV screens that twirl like smoke. After him, we see Woo Young in chains, and here things start to get tricky. My guess is that he could be playing the role of the Jabberwocky, because this shot here strongly recalls the monster's design in the movie. But on a general level, I think that his scenes are meant to represent what's going on inside of them while they fight against the Suicide Squad. While one side of them is in power, the other is in chains. But it's difficult to tell which one is which, because in Wonderland everything is confused and the two sides are coming together. What's interesting here is that he is the first one who mentions the Door of Truth. So this could be one aspect of it we need to see, that is the truth of what's going on inside of them. Next up we have Sun, who plays the role of Alice in this scenario. His scene shows him in a black environment surrounded by flowers, and the visuals strongly recall the scene of the book where Alice gets lost in the woods. In the chapter, Alice cannot find a way out, but then she meets the Cheshire Cat, who tells her that to go the right way she needs to know the destination first. This is important because in the lyrics, this exchange is mirrored by Sun and Jongho's lines, and Jongho is playing the Cheshire Cat in the video. In the lyrics, they say that they cannot stop, that they have to go on because they cannot go back. And this part is essential to understand the overall concept of Wonderland. You see, unlike Alice, they know their destination, so they know which direction to take. And in the MV, this idea is conveyed in the scenes with the staircase, that's meant to symbolize their journey to reach the treasure. In the video, we never see the top, and that's because they are not there yet, but they are on their way, which is something that marks the end of the first part of their journey and the beginning of a new one. This This is also foreshadowed by Mingi's verse, and this is very interesting because in the video he plays the role of the Mad Hatter, which is a character that in the book talks in riddles. In the video, he's sitting on a suspended platform that looks like a table, and under him, the fire surrounding the water kinda reminds the shape of a full teacup. His lines mention Jack Sparrow, which is a nod to the pirate concept they followed in episode 1, but he also makes a reference to their first win, which is the symbolic gateway that leads them to the next stage of success. Next up we have Yosang, who is in a red environment surrounded by white lights. He is a tricky one because his character is not really fleshed out. A lot of people identified him as the March Hare, and it's possible, but I think that in this case he's playing the role of the flowers, which would make sense because he's also one of the visuals of the group. If you look closely, in this shot he is surrounded by red, which is the color of the Red Queen, but he's also sitting next to white roses. His outfit moreover strongly recalled the scenes of the cards painting the white roses in red, which is something that could possibly confirm his role. What's interesting here is that both Yosang and Songhwa are portrayed in a tunnel that could represent the rabbit hole Alice fell into. These scenes don't make any sense whatsoever character-wise, and that's exactly the point, because in Wonderland everything is nonsense and good and bad merged together. In Alice in Wonderland all the characters are morally grey, and they follow their own logic and their own morals. This is important because in the video this is exactly what's taking place. The focus is on the journey, on the ambition that drives them and on the determination they have in reaching the top. Even if the theme of identity is something they deal with visually, in the lyrics the attention is not on the subject but on the action, and this tells us that the Suicide Squad is in control at the moment. It's also important to notice the flags in this context. When they're playing the Wonderland characters, the flags are black, which is a color associated to the Suicide Squad. But when the machines move them and later on when we see them marching in real life, the flags turn black and white, thus confirming that the two sides have come together. These visuals show us that the dark side of them is currently in power, but the good side is still fighting for survival. At the end of the video, the choreography shows the boys fighting, but we don't see who is the winner. In the very last shot, however, something interesting happens. ATEEZ are holding the flag, then the lights flash and Yuno's shadow duplicates, thus showing that even if this is the beginning of the end, the war is far from over. So that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did or have any requests for future videos, let me know in the comments down below. If you have time, please think about liking and subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye!